Hey, what's up my YouTube friends? Welcome to my review of this Victorinox Swiss tool. This is the MXBS model. This video is going to be an overview and some comparisons and discussion of this rather expensive multi-tool. This should be useful to those of you who may be considering purchasing this multi-tool. I'm very familiar with Swiss tools because I've had those two. Right, this is their Swiss tool Spirit in a previous edition of the Swiss tool. The first thing you're going to notice about this model is that it has one-handed opening on two different knife blades. As you can see, the previous models, they just had nail nicks. And these two also did not have the serrated blade, although they had others that did. So the beauty of having two blades, well, you get the plain edge and, you get a plain edge blade, or you have the option of the serrated. And so because there's one on each side, you have one-handed access no matter which hand you are using, right? You have at least easy access to at least one of the blades. All right, so that's a plus. I gotta say, Victorinox serrations are actually very, very good. I usually don't care about having a serrated blade on a multi-tool because other brands, a lot of times their serrations aren't even that good. They're not nearly as good as like Spyderco's, for example. But Victorinox actually is known for very good serrations. This is the pouch that the tool comes with. As you can see, it's got that strap right there. All right, so that's the pouch. So the four longer slots are scissors, a serrated blade, a plain edge blade, and a file. So as you can see on the newer multi-tool, they have sacrificed the wood saw. This does not have a saw, right? Now they do have another model that has the saw, but the saw will replace the serrated blade. So you can't have both on this new model. You either have the saw or the serrated blade. If you did have the saw, it would look like that one on that older model. Also notice, this is the blackout model, which I prefer, right? But there's a big difference in price. The older models you can get, some of them for around $140, at least on US Amazon. This is about $190, and with tax, it's going to be over $200. So there's almost like a $50 price difference, at least for now. I actually hesitated to get this. I was waiting for the price to decrease, and the price just wouldn't go down. So I guess that's just the price. I don't know. Maybe it's been a while, so I don't know. I would hope it would go down. Regarding the plier head, they list 4 functions: hard wire cutters, soft wire cutters, a crimper, and needle nose pliers. Now, this is not spring-loaded. Right? It is not spring-loaded, and the maximum that they can open is that wide. And the shorter tools, we're going to go clockwise from the pointed one, which they list as a reamer and a punch. After that, we've got a Phillips screwdriver, we've got a flathead screwdriver, we have the can opener with a screwdriver on the end. Then we have what is listed as a crate opener and a screwdriver. Next we have a bottle opener and a wire bender. And the last one is listed as a chisel with a wire scraper and a wire stripper. Oh yeah, and that bottle opener has a screwdriver end as well. And just in case I forgot anything else, here is the official readout for you. But that's the official tool listing that came with this multi-tool, so you can peruse that at your leisure. Now there are some important differences between a Swiss tool Spirit and a Swiss tool. The larger one has one more short tool. You see that? This has what they're calling the crate opener large flathead screwdriver. That tool right there. This does not have that. However, you can see the end, right? The end of their bottle opener is wider to try to make up for that. Another key difference, the reamer punch on that does not have a hook, whereas, right, the punch on that actually has a hook function, right? So the hook, the difference there, and the presence or absence of that tool right there, those are the differences between the Small Tools tool set on a Swiss Tool Spirit versus the Swiss tool. The Swiss tool is also larger and the handles are a different shape. And because of the straight handles, you see these have ruler markings, whereas these do not because they have curved ergonomic handles. So which should you get? Should you get a Swiss tool or a Swiss Tool Spirit? The Swiss tool has a little bit more capability, a tiny bit more, but the Spirit will win in terms of being more comfortable and easy to carry. All right. The reason I got the Swiss tool instead of the Spirit version this time is because I just don't care about ease of carry. I'm used to carrying a lot of gear, so just the slight convenience, it just didn't really matter to me. I just wanted the most capability. Now this cutout right here on both sides is sometimes listed as a lanyard hole. A few words about comparing two of the most expensive multi-tools. About 2 weeks ago from when I'm filming this, I did a similar overview of that Leatherman Wave Alpha. These are about the same price, at least on US Amazon. Now prices are subject to change, but right now, both of these, including tax, are going to be over $200, right? Over $200 right now. Wow, that is quite expensive. A lot of people would say, I wouldn't buy either of them. Well, that's a valid way to go. I mean, many people have said, I'm just going to stick with my old Leatherman Surge for half the price or less, and with some modifications and accessories you can buy, extreme capability there. And then some people say, well, I don't even need the Surge. Because the patents have expired, there's now clones of the Surge that are $50 or even less that you could get by with. Let's say that you wanted to buy one of these. Like, what is the deal with these, right? Well, Leatherman's excuse for the pricing on that, a lot of it has to do with that MagnaCut steel blade, right? MagnaCut, it's a very hot premium super steel, and a lot of the price that is that MagnaCut blade, the price of that is built in to the Leatherman. All right, so that's their excuse. What's Victorinox's reason for why theirs is $200? Well, I would say it boils down to customer loyalty and the reputation of the brand, right? They've always said that our engineering, our precision, our fit and finish, all the little details are going to be just right, are going to be superior to other crude multi-tools that they don't have the experience to make tools that are also kind of a work of art. Okay, is that true? Both Leatherman and Victorinox have some fanatical fans, right? Fanatical followers. Which one has more? Well, in my experience, Victorinox has more loyal fans and more fanatical fans than Leatherman does. Now, I'm not saying that's good or that's bad. I'm not a fanboy of either. I have to try to be objective. I might have my favorites here and there of different designs, but I'm not a fanatic. I'm not like a blind loyalist who just thinks that everything that either brand touches is somehow perfect, right? So I would urge you to try to be objective and to not let your judgment be clouded by this tribalistic thinking of like, oh yeah, my sports team, everyone on my sports team is perfect, and everybody on the rival team, they're just such horrible people. That's kind of simplistic black and white thinking, but people do trend towards that. So do I have any advice on which one you should get? If you had to get one, which, and only one, which one? Well, first you'd have to tell me if you have any other MagnaCut blades, right? Because if you have like I know Bestech sells a Bestech Swordfish right now, which is a pocket knife with a MagnaCut blade. So if you already have MagnaCut, that makes it less likely that you would buy the Leatherman, unless you don't carry that, but you would carry the Leatherman. All right, so it just depends what other gear you have, or if you even give a crap about Super Still. Oh, and is the fit and finish on the Victorinox, is that as good as they claim? It's better than on the Leatherman. I mean, it's a bit better than on the Leatherman. The Leatherman it's a bit crude sometimes, and their quality control has been very iffy lately. All right, I've seen that shown on other people's videos, how it's kind of a mixed bag. So yeah, if fit and finish is really important, this is would be the winner there. Last point, the usefulness of the blade shape. Forget the steel. What about the usefulness of the blade shape? This blade shape, that is undoubtedly useful. I think that's just been proven by freaking history. All right, and the serrated blade, it hooks a little bit, good for rescue. I would say these are much more useful blade shapes than that one. With the bevel here, they gave you a strong blade shape. All right? So why do you need such a strong blade shape on your multi-tool? Well, you actually don't, because it's not a fixed blade. You're not chopping with it. You're not pounding it through anything. You actually can get away with a fairly thin, slicey blade, right? So for a multi-tool, it's just that one is kind of overbuilt. I don't know if they're afraid people are going to pry with their multi-tool blade. Don't do that, dude. So it's stronger, but that's not what I need in my multi-tool blade. I don't need it to take a lot of physical punishment. I just need it to slice and draw cut and push cut effectively, which this does, and to saw and slice with that, which that does. So that's the lowdown on the blade shape comparison. Here's another comparison and a serious question. Should you just buy the Work Champ instead? That is the Work Champ. What are the differences? Well, right now the Work Champ is going for $120, right? And like I said, this is going to be $200 or more with tax, right? So there's a price difference. Now this, of course, has the full-size pliers, and this only has the mini pliers, but this has a very effective wood saw, whereas this does not. This has a serrated blade, which the Work Champ does not. But the Work Champ does have some more capabilities in terms of it's got the corkscrew, there's a micro driver in the corkscrew, it's got the tools in the scales, the tweezers. Now the blade on this does lock, right? It does lock, but it does not have the one-handed opening, so that's another thing to consider. You tell me, given the price difference, do you think the Work Champ is a better deal or what? Now, what do I think of the idea that they've substituted that serrated blade for the saw? Or if you buy the other model, you get the saw, but you don't get the serrated one-hand opening blade. It's crazy in 2025 that you can buy their most expensive multi-tool and you're still having to do without major tools like either the saw or a serrated blade. That's crazy. That's just nuts. A lot of the patents on this have run out because patents only last about 20 years. So Victorinox is so freaking lucky that some other company hasn't just kind of cloned this with whichever of the patents are open source now, hasn't just made one, but added a saw somehow. I mean, Leatherman had a juice model that had 6 long slots, but it was non-locking, right? So we've already had multi-tools that could fit more than 4 long slot type tools, okay? But so the problem is just will the lock be good enough for that? And the thickness. Well, goddamn, I mean, with all the money that Victorinox makes, they can hire some freaking genius to find a way to stick a saw on this so that we don't have to do it without a major tool spending $200, right? In fact, I know people that would design that for free. On the Multitool forums, there's like autistic genius savants that would, that would design it for probably for free. So yeah, it's just ridiculous in this day and age that you're still having to play this little game of like, oh, you can't have everything, even if you're willing to spend that much. You can't have everything. Why not? It's ridiculous. All right, that's all I got to say on that. So why did I buy this Swiss Tool MXBS? Well, I'm 51 years old and I've been collecting Swiss knives since I was a 10-year-old Cub Scout. So I collect Victorinox. And I also collect Multitools. So that's why I purchased it. Should you purchase it? Well, if you're like me and you're a collector of these things in this brand, then sure, right? But if not, if you're just looking for a convenient set of folding pliers with maybe some screwdrivers, I mean, honestly, most working guys that I know around here, they just have like a Gerber suspension. It was $15 on sale, Christmas sale, and they just use it for really light work, and they carry a full-size toolbox with them. But it's more convenient sometimes to just pull out the little multi-tool from your pocket. So if you're like a trade worker, you can certainly get along with cheaper tools, especially then, because those people carry full-size toolboxes, so it's just a matter of walking over to your truck or wherever. So yeah, I mean, unless you're a collector, there's not really or if you're just wealthy, did you know there's there's something like, no, it's like 23 million Americans are actually millionaires. So if you're one of them, yeah, I mean, yeah, because then it's not that expensive to you, right? It's relative. But is it a must-have for the working man? No, I don't think this is targeting the working man. I think this is targeting like upper middle class, or again, just fanatics or collectors, people like that. Nah, man, there's $25 to $50 multi-tools that'll do everything you reasonably would need. Is this better in terms of fit and finish and stuff? Well, yeah, it's a little better, but there's a point of diminishing returns when the price goes higher and higher. You're paying more and more for smaller and smaller returns on performance, and that's just well known. All right, so that's a straight dope. All right, so that was my honest answer, but I'm happy with mine. Like I said, I'm just really into these those two categories, and I purchased mine from Amazon. So if I wasn't happy with it, I could just return it. I'm going to keep mine and add it to the collection, and I will use it as well. All right, so I'm glad I picked it up, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like stuff like this, be sure to subscribe. This has been We All Juggle Knives. I'm out.